Hi, and welcome to week two of Metabolic Health. And this week we are going to be discussing lifestyle and metabolic health. I'm Mary Jo McGuire, a registered nutritionist with Food Choice. And we'll get into this week's topic firstly by going through a quick disclaimer. Food Choice are committed to supporting you to improve your nutritional health and well-being. Our group nutrition sessions aim to provide high quality and evidence-based information. Our content and recommendations are for the general population and do not address specific individual requirements. It is not intended to be a substitute for professional advice, diagnosis, or treatment. And if you do have any concerns or questions about your nutritional health, please do consult with a qualified professional. Okay, so what is on today's agenda? Firstly, we're going to go through key lifestyle factors such as nutrition, physical activity, and then supporting factors, sleep, and stress. So this is going to be kind of an all-rounder of all of the areas that you can help to support your overall metabolic health with your lifestyle. So the first is in under the nutrition section, blood sugar stability. So what does this mean? So basically, when our blood sugars are stable, we have a consistent level throughout the day. So we're not having this up and down like what I describe roller coaster type effect of blood sugars. When we eat a food, we break it down, and the more quickly it's broken down, the bigger the spike will be of our blood sugars, and then the bigger the drop will be. So we want to avoid this kind of energy spikes and crashes. And instead, I like to call it like rolling hills. We have a more steady up and down. It is natural for your blood sugars to spike after eating, but it's the large, big spikes that we want to avoid so that we'll have stable energy levels throughout the day. So why does this matter? So if we have ups and downs in blood sugars, we're going to experience things like fatigue and cravings. And also it may increase our risk of insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. If we have more consistent, steady levels of blood sugars, we'll have better energy, we'll have less cravings and feel satisfied between meals and reduce the risk of other conditions down the line. So if you want to kind of check to see if you're in balance, your blood sugars are in balance, some key signs are having low energy levels, irritability, sugar cravings, and poor concentration. So if you find yourself in the mid-afternoon, you need sugar, or in the evening after dinner, you need something sweet, this could be a sign your blood sugars are a bit unstable. And we can go through now some ways you can help support have more stable blood sugar levels. So what we eat makes a big difference. So enjoying balanced meals can help support steady energy and stable blood sugars. So this might seem obvious, but like some of us may not be having balanced meals and having meals that are more higher in carbs, higher in unhealthy fats, and this leads to blood sugar spikes and then unstable energy levels and cravings throughout the day. So what we want to do is pair our carbs with protein and fats to slow glucose absorption into the body. So basically slowing down those spikes and meaning they're more steady. This will mean we'll have more steady energy, less sugar cravings, and just feel more satiated between meals. So for example, instead of having a slice of toast in the morning for breakfast, adding an egg to the toast or having some peanut butter on the toast or avocado on the toast. This will make a big difference to the balancing of this breakfast rather than having some carbohydrates, which is the toast on its own. And then the type of carbohydrates that we eat makes a difference. We want to choose carbs that are more complex. These contain more fiber. So instead of, say, white rice, eating brown rice, for example, this will be broken down more slowly as they contain more fiber and other nutrients. And actually staying hydrated, this is a simple way to help to control and manage your blood sugar levels. So if you're dehydrated, this can impact blood sugar control. So then we talked about fiber, but fiber is hugely important when it comes to your overall health. And most likely we're not eating enough of fiber in the diet. So it helps a lot with your digestive health. This is kind of one of the obvious areas it helps. So it promotes regular bowel movements and a healthy gut microbiome. And if our gut health is healthy, our overall body starts to get healthy. It helps with blood sugar control. So anything that has fiber in it will help slow down the absorption of carbohydrates, reduce spikes, and improve insulin sensitivity. And then for our heart health. So if we have a diet that has more fiber in it, it can help to lower LDL or the bad cholesterol levels, and this can reduce your risk of heart disease. And then, of course, if you're trying to lose weight, you need to eat more fiber because fiber helps to promote satiety. So that feeling of fullness. So you're not constantly looking for more food. It helps to control appetite and reduce overeating. So it's a key part of weight management. So here are some sources of fiber that I'll share with you just to give you some examples. So whole grains. So whole grains are extremely beneficial and important to include in our diet. These contain a lot more nutrients than, say, the refined counterpart. So let's just compare white bread to a brown bread that hasn't been refined at all. It's been left in its natural state. This will contain three parts: the bran, the germ, and endosperm. So all of these parts then have help promoting nutrients, and vitamins and minerals as part of them, as well as fiber. So we want to go for the whole version rather than the refined processed version as much as possible. Fruit. This is great for fiber, a great source of vitamins and minerals also. So we really want to be aiming to eat the rainbow as part of a healthy diet. So the more fruit we eat in the diet, as well as the more vegetables we eat as well, because these contain vitamins and minerals and lots of fiber. They're also low in sugar, particularly vegetables. So great to include loads of these in your diet. Legumes, so things like lentils and chickpeas, black beans, these are excellent to include in your diet. They're full of fiber, full of other health promoting nutrients. They are also a really sustainable, environmentally friendly option for a protein alternative to meat as well. So these are really important to include in your diet and help with things like high cholesterol and hormone regulation. And nuts and seeds. These are great for protein, healthy fats, and also fiber. Some of these seeds will have some omega-3s in them as well, such as flax seeds and chia seeds. So these are great to include in your diet. Then healthy fats is also a really key part of the nutrition section or the nutrition profile for healthy metabolic health. It's a primary energy source. So this is the slow and steady source of energy for the body and brain. So carbohydrates offers that instant energy that the brain and body needs, and healthy fats provides that slow, steady source of energy for the body and brain. It really helps with the nutrition and the nutrient absorption of fat soluble vitamins. So without fats, we wouldn't absorb vitamins like A, D, E, and K. So it's really important we have sufficient fats in our diet and good fats. It helps with hormone production as well. So it helps to regulate hormones and produce our hormones, and including those that are involved in metabolic health too. And it's really important for your heart health. So if we're including more healthy fats, it helps to support healthy cholesterol levels and lower and reduce inflammation. So some of the healthier fats that we want to eat more of are monounsaturated fats. So these include cashew nuts, almonds, olive oil, and avocados. So trying to cook with olive oil, eating a little bit more avocados in your diet will increase, sorry, the good fats in your diet. And then polyunsaturated fats. These are what are found in oily fish and like salmon and mackerel, and pumpkin seeds and sunflower oil. So good options to include in your diet. We should be aiming to eat oily fish at least two times a week would be the ideal amount that we eat oily fish like salmon. And again, the way we cook also makes a difference. So we can grill food, steam food, and going for lower fat options as well. Will really be These are the good fat foods we want to have in our diet. And then the not so healthy fats or good fats are saturated. So the fats around meat like steak and bacon, the skin around your poultry, then cheese, cream, butter, and coconut oil. We want to kind of limit the amount of these that we eat. We don't need to cut them out entirely, but definitely reducing them and replacing with more healthier fats. And then trans fats, these are have no health promoting benefits at all. In fact, they are thought to increase your bad cholesterol and lower your good cholesterol. So they're found in foods like fried foods, cookies, muffins, and biscuits. Their role is to increase the longevity and shelf life of the food, but they have no role in terms of our health. And then reducing the amount of times you fry food, eating the full fat varieties and fatty meats. We want to kind of decrease those in the diet. So being mindful of these kind of foods, sugar and refined carbohydrates, what they can do is spike your blood sugar levels, increase cravings, reduce energy levels, and can and may contribute to insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. Instead, we want to eat more whole grains and natural sweeteners for stable energy. Salt. So if we have too much salt in the diet from sodium, it can then raise blood pressure. So we want to kind of reduce the amount of salt that we're eating. We're looking out for things like herbs and spices to flavor your food and lower sodium options also. And ultra processed foods. They tend to be high in unhealthy fats, sugars, and salt, and the body has a harder job of processing them. So it doesn't help support metabolic health. So we want to be kind of keeping our foods minimally processed and in their nutrient-rich foods and in their whole forms as much as is possible. So physical exercise then, we spoke about this in the previous a session and the role exercise plays in supporting insulin sensitivity, but it plays a big role in boosting your metabolism. You burn more calories during activity and rest when you're more active. It helps to build muscle, so muscles are more metabolically active then. So if we build muscle, we'll actually be more metabolically healthy and will burn more calories at rest. And the more active we are, the more our blood sugar levels will be regulated and we'll have more insulin sensitivity rather than insulin resistance. So we really should be aiming to be as active as possible. And of course, it helps to reduce body fat and promotes anti-inflammatory compounds. So yeah, lots of benefits to exercise. And here is just a quote included in this session. A vigorous 5 mile walk will do more good for an unhappy but otherwise healthy adult than all the medicine and psychology in the world. So that's by Paul D. White. So just a nice one just to recall on that movement can be medicine at times, just to get outside, get that fresh air, burn some calories, but also just boost your endorphins as well. So some supporting factors we don't want to forget about are sleep. So the role of sleep is to regulate hormones like insulin, leptin, and cortisol, and these all they all play an important role in your metabolic health, and they control things like your appetite, your mood, your energy, and metabolism. Good sleep will help to aid in muscle repair and energy balance. And yeah, so it's much harder to control the amount of energy that you consume if you don't get good quality sleep. You will find you're craving higher fat, higher sugar foods. So a good tip is to aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep a night. So if you're not near there, try to get an hour extra a night. Try winding down earlier, putting your screens away, things like that really help with the quality of sleep. And then stress. So chronic stress raises cortisols and may lead to an increase in appetite, fat storage, and blood sugar imbalances as well. So we don't want to have too high levels of cortisol, which is kind of our stress hormone that we need in small amounts to alert us, to keep us out of danger, but we don't need too much of it, otherwise we're in a chronic stress state. So it also can deplete energy and disrupt metabolism. So practical tip for this is to use deep breathing, mindfulness, and exercise to manage your stress. And typically a combination of all these is really thought to be helpful. So doing some deep breaths in the morning or at your desk, incorporating some mindfulness or doing some like mind body movement like yoga or Pilates, and then exercise like just walking, going for a run, doing some weights will also be helpful and effective for reducing stress. So, key takeaways for this week is nutrition and exercise are extremely important, and also sleep and stress. They all impact metabolic health. So you want to look at one lifestyle change that you could start this week to bring into the next week. So it could be again increasing your movement built on from last week. It could be adding more fiber to your diet. It could be pairing some protein with your carbs instead of just having carbs on their own. Choose one lifestyle change that you want to make you start with to see some improvements in your metabolic health. And remember, small sustainable changes are really, really key. It's not about an overall change. Small ones really make a difference. So what we're going to look at next week is building sustainable habits as well. And don't forget to check out the tip sheet for this week and also the cook along. Thank you for watching.